I am sure sports. You know me there, I'm coast to coast representing. I mean, I say this is righteous representing for Omar. You don't know, come get the sports over here from near and far. Boy. Me say I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. I am sure sports, one thing me sure about. When me say sure, that me not doubt. Come get your sports, get it over here. Come subscribe, repost and share. If me not sure, that me not say it. Know who score, that me not say it. Never know no game play, that me not say it. If me never see no game, me not know who play. For your sports news, better come over here so. For your soccer news, then come over here so. If you don't love sports, still come over here. For the day done, you are gonna love over your son.
So when it comes on to behavior concerning football, Jamaica is decent. I am sure that if we can get all of these things done, set in place by the end of April, it gives us enough time before the World Cup campaign. Not afraid of no Brazil, no Argentina with these crapper players. We are good enough. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Listen, comment, let me know what your thoughts are.
Trick-Nick Jerk Marinade gives your meats and vegetables authentic Jamaican jerk flavor. The spices are directly from Jamaica. Spices like jerk seasoning, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper, fresh scallions, thyme, ginger, and garlic. The key ingredients to a great jerk marinade. 0% sugar and low in sodium. You want to try it?
Made up of 18 Jamaican herbs and spices. Add delicious, bold flavor to your next grilling experience. Flavoring sauce, a marinade, basting, condiment, or topping. Trick-Nick Jerk Barbecue Sauce.
That Sports for the best authentic sportswear. You check Wilton Sports when you want the best authentic sportswear. Wilton Sports. Food change advertise fee. And if you roll outside the numbers, remember, no easy half number off.
Some sports were for take notes. Them full of dreams and hopes. Then why them come and sell rope? When there is only one, yeah, there is only one goat. And that a Wilson, yeah, that a Wilson, yeah, that a Wilson sports. Yeah, ball boots, ball tops, ball shots, shin guard, ball socks. Them kinda drip you quick for make your ex call back. Little quickness in my boots and ball out, me want that. My Nike ticky pretty and my Adidas all black. Dribble down your field with grip and feel me can't drop. Slide tackle all my own a team and know this now pop. Why? Because I'm by the supper.
All right. Well, good evening. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I am your host, Manningsman. On this the evening when Mr. Craig Butler and his Mona team won their first Manning Cup title in the first entrance into the finals. So kudos to Mr. Butler. It has been a long time coming and he has proven some of his doubters wrong. Well done to Mona people like Dima. Bless up yourself. Sean Sutherland, some of the subscribers who are big and ardent Mona fans. All right. Also, just for those of you who are into football, all right, here's what is happening. Mannings are into the under 14 finals, the rural era under 14 finals, and they're also in the under 16 finals. In the under 14, I think they'll be playing St. Elizabeth Technical in the under 14, and in the under 16, they I think will be playing against Central. So yeah, but tonight is for a different reason. Now there has been this ongoing dialogue on the airwaves across Jamaica about the importance or what points are more important, and so we have some of the persons who have been proponents of this discussion, this debate on radio, who will be joining us this evening, and they will be taking it. They'll be talking about it. We're supposed to have four of them in all, which is Preacher, Pioneer, Garvey, and Chris Lynch. We'll have in studio, they call him Tall Man, Tall P, Brown Man. He's the tallest man in Jamaica. All right. You know him as Garvey because he's a Garvey Heights. All right. Take his Garvey and stuff very serious. You don't ramp with him, you don't run any jokes with that. He will get livid. You understand me? We also have Preacher, who continues to do a lot of social work all across Jamaica, and he will be here. Pioneer is having some difficulties connecting through this medium, so we will get it somehow get him on, and we are yet to see Chris Lynch. They call themselves the Elite, and you will hear from them. All right. All right. As Stefan Wright already said, no way the fourth quarter is more important. So let us invite our first guest on. This is Bird says, oh my God, you're bringing that stupid topic on YouTube. Big up yourself, Southie. You don't know. So that is Garvey. That is Preacher. Seem like he's going to be doing really well in this discussion tonight because he's in the massive, either it's a throne that he's sitting on or he's lying comfortably in bed, whichever one. You're muted, Preacher, so open up your mic and go ahead. All right, let me see if I can unmute you. All right, you have to mute yourself. You're muted.
No, man, I'm deliberately not speaking, man.
Okay, all right.
I'm just saying it's good to see Garvey in living color, and it's good to be on the debate tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah. Big up yourself, Garvey. Big up yourself, man, as well. You know the thing.
Garvey.
As I can say, Preacher, the Chiefs are right here.
Yeah, we know your thing, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be coming back when the playoffs start. I'm sure, but
Definitely. So, as you know, Garvey is a Kansas City Chiefs supporter, and that awesome quarterback that they have down there. He's one of his top players right now in the NFL. We have Pioneer who has joined us on the phone. Says that he's having some difficulties coming on video.
Let me apologize for not being on screen like the two gentlemen who are on screen right now, because I'm actually looking at you gentlemen, you three gentlemen on screen. But because of some technical issues, I'm forced to be joining you via phone. But I can hear everybody clearly. Preacher, big up yourself, my virgin, Garvey, my general. I wanted to be in studio for host the whole thing. But I figured I needed to bring you in as a mutual referee, because I can't host.
I think the argument is already leading down. I think the argument already leaning down on unfair pass because both of you are on one side of the argument and Preacher is the only one standing. I don't know if Chrislin is gathering his information or he has decided that he's going to take a leave of absence from this one, but he should be here as well because I think he's on the side of the argument that Preacher is on. All right, so.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. All right. So let's begin by discussing the genesis of this conversation, Pioneer. I mean, because this conversation started out in basketball originally, but it has branched off into many different sports, to the point where you got cricket involved, and that was like hit for a massive six over long off onto the streets when that argument was brought up. And it was also a no ball, so that was 7 runs, and it was re-ball and 6. So in one delivery, 13 runs when you brought in the cricket example in your argument. But I've listened to the quantity.
I don't know about all of that. Mornings about being hit for 6 and all of that. But this is a topic that has been in media. For the longest while, and I don't think the genesis even started with us here in Jamaican sports talk. I think this is a subject that I've heard others discussing elsewhere, overseas, etc. However, in recent times, I think Garvey was a man who who rehashed the argument on radio, and it was initially a fourth quarter versus first quarter discussion. But I think by that it's more a crunch time. It's more a crunch time versus early game points situation. So that is where the argument has evolved.
Let's hear from Garvey. Like Garvey, how did this come back on the radio, and what was your original discussion? Go ahead.
All right, man is man. Let me try to simplify this for the audience. What I'm trying to tell them, man is man, is that in sports you have to deal with practicality, and any practical example that you take from the first quarter and put that example into the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, that example becomes more magnified, more decisive, more whatever they want to say. But in my word, it is more important. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about, man is man. An NBA basketball game starts off with both teams tied at 0-0, right? Wherever the game goes from that in the first quarter, it is not as consequential as when a fourth quarter starts off tied. If a fourth quarter starts off tied, management, and a team goes on a 10-0 run to start the fourth quarter, it is a lot more consequential and important in my eyes than if a team goes on a 10-0 run in the first quarter. If you're down in a first quarter, management, and you go on a 20-0 run, yes, it is important. But if you are down in the fourth quarter and you go on a 20-0 run, it is a lot more important. Why? Because now you're dealing with time and score. Whatever happens in the first quarter, second quarter, and third quarter, you have a lot more time to recover from it. But when it happens in the fourth quarter, it is a lot more consequential. So in my eyes, that has to have more weight on the ultimate goal, which is winning the game, because your ultimate goal is winning the game, It's not leading the game. And I brought a stat to Sports Deck today, and I was asking the host, which he ran from. I said, in the NBA, regardless of what happens in the first, second, or third quarter, management, we have a stat that says 76% of all NBA games are either tied or have a lead change in the fourth quarter. So only 24% of NBA games are in situations where a team is able to maintain their lead right throughout the quarter and win the game. So which would you put more weight on, that 24% of games or the 76% of games where games are either tied or have a lead change in the fourth quarter? And my final point is this, management, which they don't want to allude to. No matter what point of the game a game becomes tied, the game is essentially 0-0. It doesn't matter how they want to slice it, dice it, or splice it. When a game is tied, whichever game you're playing in sport, and the game is tied, it is essentially 0-0. So what happens from a tied game going forward, it has to be slightly more important than what had happened before the game became tied. That is my argument.
All right. We have heard from Garvey. Thank you so much, Garvey. Preacher, you have been on the radio on this argument. Don't know if it is similar to what Garvey is now saying, or it has evolved from that into other things. But let me hear what. Yeah.
Evening, management, again, and evening to your viewers. All right, so what Garvey just established is his argument that the fourth quarter is more important than what previously took place. He has not necessarily confined it to crunch time, which is what Pioneer was alluding to. Garvey is dealing with the fourth quarter as a whole and the value of the fourth quarter in determining a result, right? I don't share that view. I believe that in sports that are segmented, whether by quarters or by halves or by innings, everything that happens over the course of that game contributes equally to the outcome of the game when you are looking at the value of each point or each run in terms of the overall composite score. In the NBA, which Garvey made mention of, last season, for example, of the 1,230 games that were played over the course of the season, 1,205 of them had one team leading after 3 quarters. 25 others were tied entering the 4th quarter. The team leading after 3 quarters went on to win 81.7% of the time. 220 times the team trailing entering the final 12 minutes came back to win. That tells you the importance of developing a lead over quarters 1, 2 to 3, because 81% of the time, if you do that, the statistics show that you end up winning the game. Notwithstanding the statistics that Garvey mentioned about lead changes and all of those things. That may be true, but lead changes and all of those things do not discount the value and importance of points that are scored in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd quarter in determining who wins a game. The other thing, the other part of the argument, which is a part of the argument I think Pioneer is on, is crunch time. When we talk about crunch time in basketball, we're talking about the last 4 to 5 minutes when the game is close. Teams are not separated by more than 5 points or so. And clearly, a lot of attention will be placed on that time because you're running out of time in the game. It's less time, obviously. And pressure, we talk about the pressure factor and all of these things. Now, all of those things, the thing of pressure, the thing of intensity and all of those things, those are qualitative. Those are things that by themselves are not quantitative. They're not measurable in a quantitative way. Pressure for me and pressure for management might be 2 different things, right? However, the points that are accumulated during that time of the game don't have increased value. They are no more valuable than the points that would have been scored at the beginning or in the 2nd or in the 3rd quarter in terms of the outcome of the game. I can agree with people who say that some moments in a game are perhaps more important in how they influence the outcome of the game, because moments are the sum total of several different events, and these events are not quantifiable events. These events are things that we use now to look at the qualitative influences over the game. Your best player gets ejected. The ref makes a bad call. Moments in a game can be more important in terms of their overall influence, but points in a game, when all points add up to determine the total points which influence the outcome, are all important, and in my opinion, equally important. So that's my position. That's my side of the argument.
All right, so we have heard from Garvey, we have heard from Preacher. Pioneer, what say you?
All right. I didn't come with as many stats as my 2 brethren who are, these gentlemen are statisticians, them own, right? And I am more a linguistic person, so I'm gonna come with words and definitions. You understand? But first, I'm gonna establish something. I have a philosophy which I have lived by for the longest while. It is time for me. It is time and score that determines importance in sports.
Let me say that time and score determines the importance in sports.
Importance in sports, of everything in sports.
Everything.
All right. Everything. That time and score. That time. So I'm gonna stick to the time. That time could come in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th quarter for me, but more times than not, Mannings. And I don't even want to put a percentage. Garvey would have probably say 76%, but more times than not, that time, that significant time, is gonna come in the 4th quarter. Mainly because of the finality of the 4th quarter and the nature of the 4th quarter, meaning it's closer to the end. Teams play with more intensity. Teams play with a greater sense of urgency. It is harder to recover from things that happen in the 4th quarter. So time and score, my time and score concept is more relevant to the 4th quarter, and more often will be relevant to the 4th quarter. However, I can point to games, basketball game, we can use basketball as an example, where I can point to a moment in the third quarter or even the second quarter and say that was a critical time in the game. That was when the time and score dictated that the momentum of the game shifted, or that shot basically set the pace for the game for that team to win the game. I said more often than not, that is going to come in the fourth quarter. All right, so importance is the word that I think importance is the word, because I'm not going to go down the statistical lines that we're bridging. I'm going to go down the lines of looking at the words and their meanings. Importance is the word that everybody struggles with. Preacher has conceded that the final shot in a game, a buzzer beater, or the final shot in a game that wins a game is more decisive. All right, and I would dare to say, I think if it's more decisive, then it's more impactful in terms of having an impact on the outcome of the game. A shot that comes first quarter.
I don't think he was saying that, though. You know. Decisive,
no, man, he's
decisive and impact. Yeah. Why?
Oh, he has used the word decisive. I am putting the word impactful.
Okay.
All right. I'm also adding the word consequential to the debate, because let's look at it. When 2 points are scored in the first quarter, what is the consequence on the game? What does it do to the game? It puts a team up by.
Right, let me ask you this, Bob. Sorry to interject in your time. So you're saying that the first 2 points, in and of themselves, as not as important as the last two that win the game?
No. All right. So let me say now.
Okay.
All right. So important. So I'm break it down. Importance has the meaning of importance is of great significance or value. All right, we can all agree that 2 points equal 2 points. So we can move past that. We can move past the 1, 2, 3 ABC part of the discussion. 2 points will always be equal to 2 points, man. We can move beyond that. So we are now looking at significance. We are now looking at the significance of the 2 points and what it means and how it affects the game during the run of a game. 2 points that are scored in the beginning of the game, manins, because of the time and score, doesn't have the same significance as the 2 points that are scored at the end of the game. When 2 points are scored at the beginning of the game, we all watch sports, we all watch basketball, for example. We know that it doesn't carry the same urgency. No coach will call a timeout because somebody has scored the first 2 points in a game. All right, but at the end of a game, if your team is down by 2 points, there's gonna be probably 2 or 3 timeouts in the space of maybe 10 seconds. So it speaks to the consequential nature of what it means at the end of the game, man. It speaks to the impact that it has at the end of the game. You understand what I mean? So Preacher has agreed, not in this medium, he didn't say it tonight, but we have agreed. And he has said it elsewhere in more than one in different media, that he thinks he will concede and he will accede to the fact that the buzzer beater is more decisive. Now I would ask if it's more decisive, which means it's more consequential. It's more, it carries a greater consequence.
No, but Paddy, what I would say is that let me just check with you on something, because when you define the word importance, you spoke about the significance of something. So if you say it is more significant, you're actually saying it is more important, because in the definition of important, the word significant is used. So you can't say it is.
But the word value is also used. So we are moving past value because we are saying quantitatively 2 points value the same, wherever, however, whenever. So we are looking at the significance of those 2 points now, man. What does it do to the game when it is scored? That's what we are saying. And that is why I have also brought in the word consequential. And the meaning of the word consequential actually is important and significant. Right. So all of this ties in, man. All right, man, I'm going to ask you as a layman in the conversation, saying as a spectator to the whole discussion, would you agree or disagree that when 2 points are scored at the end of the game, vis-a-vis 2 points that are scored in the first quarter or the beginning of the game, the 2 points at the end of the game is more consequential than the 2 points at the beginning of the game?
You're talking if the team win by 2 points.
Yes. A buzzer beater that one, whether you win by 1 or you win by 2.
But a buzzer, it's very hard. It's very hard to make. And let me tell you why. Because then the person who scored the 2 points just before that, he's saying that, well, if I had not, hold on. So
no, hold on, Mannings. We didn't get to the point.
Pioneer, give Manningsman a chance for express.
I have a counter to that. Let Manningsman go Pioneer. I have a counter to that.
And hold on, Mannings, I ask you a specific question.
I'm giving you a specific answer because it is.
But you are hold on, Mannings. You are inventing a different scenario.
No, Manningsman, you're not giving Pioneer the answer that he wants.
No. I have an answer to that, Manningsman. You want me to answer that, Pioneer? You want me to answer that?
I'd love to hear Manningsman's response still, honestly.
All right.
Hold on.
Let him go.
I'm asking a specific question to Mannings. Mannings, I specifically said to you, 2 points that are scored at the beginning of the game. Man, I said at the beginning of the game, vis-a-vis 2 points, a buzzer beater that puts your team up, whether by 1 or by 2, but it wins you the game. Would you agree or would you disagree that the 2 points from the buzzer beater that ends the game is more consequential than the 2 points at the beginning of the game?
So let me say this to you, my boss. Shaquille O'Neal scoring his first 2 frees at the beginning of the game, seeing that he is a person who misses free throws often. And then Kobe Bryant, who consistently hit buzzer beaters, scoring a buzzer beater at the end. I think the fact that Shaquille O'Neal scored his 2 free throws at the beginning of the game could be considered way more important than Kobe Bryant.
Consequential.
Way more consequential as well because he missed free throws and the 2 free throws that he got.
Manningsman. Just give me a chance, Garvey. Come and ask a question and respond.
Yeah.
What are the consequences after Shaq scored those 2 free throws? What are the consequences on the game? What is the situation in the game? Is the game decided? Is any team has any team won the game?
But it caused the game. It was those 2 points are also the sum of all the points that caused the game to be tied where a buzzer beater is needed at the end.
No, but what all right. So what you are ignoring, man, is the dynamic nature of sports. All right, sports is.
Hold on, Pioneer. Let me hear Garvey because.
All right, Manningsman. So you ask, right? You say if a man scored a basket to win a game by 1, why is it more important than the man who scored the basket to pull them within 1, right?
Yes.
All right, so let me ask you this, Manningsman. The man who scored.
Hold on, but you're not answering the question.
No, hold on. I got to answer the question. Listen what me answer, Manningsman. If he had missed that shot that pulled them within 1, how much would they be down by?
They would be down by 3.
All right. So do you think in mind that the man who attempted the last shot would attempt a 2-pointer with them being down 3?
We don't know what would happen. We don't even
No. Preacher, be practical. No. Preacher, hold on. Be practical here.
But I'm being honest.
Hold on, preacher. Have you seen a team down 3 in a basketball game with 3 seconds left and run to the rim and lay up a 2 and lose the game? No, hold on. Have you seen that?
This is where I depart with you on Pioneer.
Hold on. Let me answer Manningsman's question. Let me finish answering Manningsman's question.
You asked me
hold on, Manningsman. Manningsman. If the team was down 3, Manningsman, there is no way with 3 seconds remaining they would attempt a 2-pointer. What they would do, Manningsman, is attempt a 3-pointer. Let me also add, Manningsman. By attempting a 3-pointer, you bring in the possibility of a 4-point play. You do realize that, right?
Hold on. Pioneer just
so they could have won. We have seen Manningsman. We have seen NBA games. Hold on, preacher. Let me ask you a question. Have we ever seen an NBA game, preacher?
Hold on. All right, Pioneer. No, man. So hold on. All right, so preacher, we're gonna let Garvey finish his point. But Garvey, when you ask preacher the question, You have to allow him to answer. So we're going to let you ask the question, Garvey.
Here's the question.
Yeah.
Here's the question. Preacher, have you ever seen a team down 3 at the end of the game and hit a 3-point and it's also a 4-point play?
I've seen it happen.
Okay, then. So hold on.
Hold on. I can't say anything.
So you're just admitting,
No,
so you're
but
admitting
you
now,
not trying
preacher,
to
that
say anything.
the basket that brought them within one cannot be as important as the game winner because if that basket was not scored, they would not have
I'm
lost
not
the game.
admitting that. I am not admitting anything to you.
All right. So
what I'm
preacher,
saying is,
you go ahead now, preacher.
hold on. Pioneer just said sports is dynamic. When something is dynamic, it means that it is not as predictable. There could be many different kind of variables.
Yeah.
If the man who missed the shot, who put you within one, missed his shot, we have no guarantee that the winning shot would have even come about. We have no guarantee because sports is dynamic.
Garvey, you're muted. Just let preacher finish.
Let me finish.
Pioneer. You see why more your host? Pioneer.
Yeah, man. That's welcome, Christian.
Pioneer. I'm going to welcome Chris Lynch. Listen up,
welcome, Chris Lynch.
Welcome, Chris Lynch, because we don't go welcome you still. Pioneer, don't go say something else, but we stop him and say, yes, welcome, Chris Lynch.
Man, I'm very, if you know how quiet I've been, you know how quiet I've been.
All right.
Pioneer, I go on good stuff, man.
All right, go ahead,
is it in the same way? A shot at the beginning of a game changed the entire trajectory of that game, because if that shot were missed, the entire game would be a different game. The man who scored 2 points before the winning shot was made also changed the dynamic and trajectory of those last few minutes in the game.
Hold on, Pioneer.
The moment that we make that shot of lesser importance than the winning shot, what we're ultimately saying is we could have done without that shot in the broader scheme of things, because the winning shot is more important than it. When the winning shot was totally dependent on it, it couldn't do without it, because it wouldn't be a winning shot without it. That's my point. I'll stop there.
All right, hold on, preach. All right, Garvey, hold on, you're muted. Let me unmute Garvey. But Pioneer was saying, let's welcome Chris Lynch, Garvey. All right, Chris Lynch.
Yeah, well, big up.
It's cranky as if
big up the team.
When all I was saying was welcome, Chris Lynch. That's it.
You can't follow cracky will throw you off course, you know.
But what may I say to you, in a preacher, I just killed that point, because what I'm trying to tell you, preacher, if the man that scored the basket to pull them within one missed that shot, it cannot be, it can't be as consequential as the man who misses the shot with them down one and it's the last shot. Why? When he misses that shot, preacher, the game is over. The shot before, by missing that shot, them still have a chance to tie it up with a 3-pointer.
Fear. The winning shot is the decisive shot. It is not more consequential and it's not more important.
But if they miss it,
a winning shot, it has to be more consequential.
It's not just the winning shot, preacher. If they miss it, they lost.
Win a game. Right. 2 points never win a basketball game.
Preacher.
Pioneer. You see, the problem. Pioneer.
I've been very quiet, gentlemen.
No, man.
Pioneer time.
No, man. So here's the problem we have. You see, because you're this is why I said to you, you have to come on screen. Because you're not what I'm saying to you is that, all right, here, gentlemen, what we have to do.
I do, man. I'll allow you to introduce
No, exactly, because what is happening is we have to also understand that people are listening. And every time 2 or 3 of us are talking, though you're trying to say something important and you need to interject, the people cannot hear. All right, so that's all I'm saying. So I'm going to let you go and speak, but we have to, somebody saying it's sounding confusing. So please let us not talk over each other, because we have time. You will have time, man. Garvey will have time. Preacher will have time. Chris Lynch will have time. Pioneer will have time. I see Stefan Wright asking if we can. I'm going to put the link so you can come on, Chris. But go ahead, Pioneer, and then we'll go to Chris Lynch.
Because I just muted myself and I've been using my mute button. So cranky, they don't have to mute me. I've been muting myself. All right. I remember saying no. All right. again, let me say, sports is dynamic, gentlemen. The dynamics of sports changes from minute to minute, player to player. All right, and let us get back. So let us come up with a scenario. Let's say 10 seconds is left. 10 seconds are left in the game, and your team is down by 4 points. All right, the basket that cuts it to 2 points is very, very important too, and very significant and very consequential. However, if you miss that basket with 10 seconds left on the clock and you're down by 4, it is not final. It doesn't have the same consequence as if you're down by 2 and you miss the basket to tie or to go ahead in the game, brethren. Seeing even with, and this is where the dynamics of sports come. We have seen, look at Reggie Miller versus the Knicks. The game was almost over. We saw what Reggie Miller did. There was still time for him to score all those points and bring back the Indiana Pacers and win the game.
Yeah, 8 points, 16 seconds.
All right. However, when it comes to a last-minute shot, Mannings and panelists and people in social media and YouTube, when it comes to a last-minute shot, the finality of the nature of that shot has to make it more consequential to the outcome of the game than any other shot. Agreed. All right, we have seen teams score 2 buckets 5 seconds left on the clock. However, when the clock is going 3, 2, 1, and the ball is up in the air, that has to be the most consequential. And as I pointed out to you, gentlemen, the meaning of consequential is significant and important. So that has to be the most significant shot. The fact that we are calling this shot the game winner, just by the nature of the name that we are ascribing to this shot, the game winner, which some people will say no one shot wins a game, but the fact that we are ascribing to this shot the game winner, which means it's the most decisive, it's the most consequential, it's the most impactful, and as a result, I would dare to say the most significant and important at the game. Now, can agree or disagree? Welcome, Cranky.
Let me hear from Cranky before you come in. Let me hear from Chris Lynch, because Cranky is so Chris Lynch, go ahead, because you're on the other side of this argument. Go ahead, Chris Lynch.
Yeah, I think Pioneer keep substituting words because he's in trouble. Why Pioneer keep on substituting consequential importance? Why the fact that he keeps substituting words tell you that Pioneer is in trouble? Because why is he looking for a word? I just don't understand why is Pioneer looking for a word that if he believes that the thing is more important, he believes that. He doesn't need to go to 3 other words to come to us like we don't know what the words mean. So Pioneer looking forward tell me that he really doesn't have a strong point and he's trying to argue words at the moment. Because Garvey went ahead and pointed out the preacher that if you're down 1 and you miss that shot.
Hold on, Pioneer. Let him finish, man.
If you're down 1 and you miss that shot, I don't hear nobody talk about the other team going to the next end and scoring. It's just the team just miss a shot. What happened to the next team that they're playing against? It's not one team playing. So that means something else can happen. And then more pressure become on that last shot now. So a shot, if you miss a 2-pointer and the other team go back down, they're going to use a 2-pointer. What if the other team go back down and score a 3-pointer? There's not a game winner again. So just creating scenarios to match up and support what they are saying really doesn't tell us what will happen. They're just creating a scenario to suit their narrative because they're using one team and they're not telling us what's happening at the next end with the other team that they're playing against. That's it.
All right, that's Chris Lynch.
And yet sports is so dynamic, but it's only one team getting the ball to hit the game-winning shot. It's amazing.
All right, let me hear from Cranky. I've been following the discussion, so we hear from Cranky.
Can I respond to something, Chris?
Go ahead, Pioneer. Respond.
And my using other words is trying to simplify.
Simplify.
As a matter of fact, simplify. Yeah. So the person who actually introduced another word to the discussion is preacher. Preacher.
No.
Because I was sticking to the word important, and I kept on clarifying the definition of the word important, which is of great significance or value. All right, I'm going to say we already move value because value is quantitative. Significance is where I stick to. Preacher introduced the word definitive.
No. I said the winning shot is more decisive. It is decisive.
So there you go. So now may I try to break it down for the people. Because since for me, and preacher was at pains to say that, to try and point out that decisive and important are different words. Of course they are. Nobody said they were synonyms. Nobody said they were similes. But what they are not, man, they are not opposite words. So there are a lot of things that are more decisive.
Nobody said they were opposite, Pioneer. Nobody said they were opposite. So you're being disingenuous. You're saying nobody said they were simile. Nobody said they were the same. But nobody said they were opposites. So why are you saying they're
you were at pains to point out that they are different, that there is different, there's a difference between words.
And you accept that they are different. But you accept that they're different. But nobody said they were opposites. So why are you telling us that they're not opposites?
Fine. But I am also pointing out to the public and to you gentlemen that there are a lot of things that are more decisive, that are also more important. And in this case, this is one of those moments. I introduced those words, people, those additional words. See, for break it down for sure that not only is it more decisive, it's also more consequential. That I'm sure not a lot of people can disagree with, because, and then the meaning of consequential, as I point out already, is significant and important. So if it is more consequential, automatically it is more significant and it is more important, because the meaning of consequential is significant and important.
All right.
And I would dare to say it is also more impactful. All right. Cranky, come in on the discussion, Cranky, because I know exactly which side you're coming from. I'm like 3 more than I'm kill two.
Going around that circle is not consequential or important or significant in any way, shape, or form. I would say this, which is, I would say it's more dramatic at the end of a game to hit the winning shot. Doesn't mean it's more consequential than the play before the ultimate shot that you hit. Because actually, the last play is contingent upon what you did before. So if the last play didn't occur before you hit the last shot, you may not get a chance to hit the last shot. So how can you say it's more important? That logic and that reasoning doesn't fly. I'm going to get to the end if I don't have a chance to get to the end to win.
There you go.
It's not more consequential. It's more dramatic. It may deem to be more impactful, even though it's really not. Because how we view it. The excitement, the euphoria, the outcome, ultimately decide at that point. Doesn't mean the play before that wasn't more consequential. How would I get to that play if I didn't get a chance to get to that play?
Tell me to finish.
No. Pioneer, you hold on, Pioneer, because
Pioneer, I don't have a long story.
Yeah, man.
My point, I'm done. You go ahead.
All right, Pioneer, hold on, Pioneer. Go ahead, Garvey, because Garvey has his hand up. Go ahead, Garvey.
The Manningsman and Cranky. How are you doing, Cranky? Nice to meet you.
I'm sitting here.
I have a question for both of you. I'm going to put it in a soccer way, because I know I'm big soccer people.
All right, go ahead. Football.
Okay, the year when Manchester City. The year when Manchester City won their first Premier League title, right? When was that? 2014.
Yes.
The year when the Italians passed the ball to Aguero. Yes.
Okay, so you're telling me that Aguero goal was not the most important goal of their whole season?
No. The most important goal all season? No, Garvey.
How can that not be? Hold on, Manningsman.
No,
that goal wasn't hold on. That goal was in stoppage time, right?
But they had many other stoppage time goals that season.
No, hold on. If they had drawn that game, where would they have finished in the league?
If they had drawn the game before that, where would they have finished? They won.
No, but this is where we are at. No.
No, but you're at that place.
You have to finish the season, you know. Management. Remember, you have to play all 38 games to finish the season, you know. So you are at game 38. No.
Garvey, you have to defeat your own point, you know, Garvey. You have to defeat your own point. Because what you're saying is that at any point before that, if they had dropped 2 points, they wouldn't have won the league.
And do you know that Checo scored a goal right before that?
No, but listen. You could look at all sports like that.
Jekko brought them back into the game, so they needed an additional goal. If Jekko had not scored and Aguero scored, the game they would have lost the title. So I could say the fact that Jekko scored brought them back, allowed Aguero's goal to make a difference.
Let me ask you a question. Hold up. After that title, did the owner for City give some special gifts to a particular player on the team?
No, but that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything.
Hold on. Who did he give those special gifts to?
He gave them to Aguero. So what that have to do with?
Oh, okay.
Wasn't Aguero the leading goal scorer on the team that season?
I'm waiting to make a point after Garvey.
Can I say something quickly, please? Can I ask? I'm going to say something quickly.
Yeah.
Garvey, you just raised a football analogy, right? And I'm going to stay with where you are. Which half in a football game is more important?
It depends on the first half result. Hold on, preacher.
And it's the same thing with a basketball game.
Preacher, listen. All right, let me ask you. Which half was more important? Hold on, preacher. Which half was more important in the World Cup final?
If you believe, let me finish. If you believe that it is dependent on the result, that will determine which half is more important, then you cannot sit here and tell us that the fourth quarter is more important than every other.
No, but I brought statistics. No, but this is not an opinion. I brought a stat to show you, preacher.
Not an opinion. 82% of the teams who lead going into the third quarter end up winning.
But guess what you don't? Guess how short-sighted and myopic you are in your analysis. You do not realize that your stat still falls within my stat.
No,
those 80%, you know, listen. Those 80%, hold on, give me a second, sir, and I'll explain. Those 80% of games that you talk about, a lot of them still end up being tied in the fourth quarter. Now, let me ask you this, preacher. Those games that the teams led coming into the fourth quarter, after they became tied, what was more important? What happened before the tie or what happened after the tie?
None of them were more important. Everything was more. Let me just say this quickly. This is the last thing I'm going to say on this particular part of the discussion. It cannot be that in a sport that is divided by quarters, we're saying that the fourth quarter is more important than every other quarter. And in another sport that is divided into halves, the determination is what happened in the first half, whether or not the second half is more important. That is inconsistent reasoning. And if we take it to any other sport, for example, baseball that has 9 innings, the same should apply. The last innings, if Garvey's argument is the fourth quarter is most important, the 9th inning must be most important, the second half must be most important, the fourth quarter in a netball game must be more important. The consistency of the reasoning must remain the same.
Let him finish. Let him finish, Pioneer, and then I'll come to you.
This is not gentlemen.
Yeah,
gentlemen have been very quiet.
Yeah, but
very patient.
All I'm saying is let him finish.
Now, my position is, and Pioneer said, that is taking away the quantitative component of value, because that is ABC reasoning. That's what he said. Now, if sports are determined by quantitative factors, most points scored, most runs scored, most goals scored, it means that there's a higher degree of premium placed on the quantitative outcomes at the end of a sporting game. It does not mean that the qualitative elements don't have importance. You cannot place greater importance on qualitative elements within a quantitatively dominant thing like sports. So if Pioneer is going to come and tell us that he's only focusing on the qualitative in his argument about importance and value, then what he's doing is reducing sports to a merely qualitative conversation. We cannot have that.
No. That's the premise is wrong. Give me a chance. Come have so much to respond. Then please just give me a yes, brother. You see me up. I'm know some of misbehaving. I'm up on my best behavior. So not give me a little chance, please. And you see, I've muted myself purposely for the last probably 8-9 minutes.
Sir, you're on the floor.
Cranky, come see a bag of foolishness. Someone ask Cranky first. See? Cranky, if my team is down by 5 points with 10 seconds left in the game, have I lost the game, Cranky?
No, you haven't lost yet.
Okay, how about that? Oh, good. So I haven't lost. So
Yeah.
and if I make a shot to cut the lead to 3 or to 2, have I won the game, Cranky?
No, you have made a consequential play to get it to 2.
Good. So good. So hold on. And if my team is down by 2 now, Cranky, or by 1 point, and I make a shot, whether a 2-point shot or a 3-point shot, to go ahead, have I won the game, Cranky? Yes or no?
If you have a 3-pointer and there's no time left on the clock,
Yeah.
and you scored and it's a 3-pointer, yes, because you were down by 2 points.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, man. If I am down by 2 points and I hit a 3-pointer,
Yeah, you won the game.
at the end of the, have I won the game?
Yeah, he said
yes. You won the game if there's no time on the clock.
Hold on. Yeah, man. So I won the game.
No. If there's no time on the clock, yes. If there's no time on the clock, yes.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Of those 3 scenarios I just gave to you, which one of those 3 scenarios are more consequential to a game?
The first one that put you in a position to win. Wait, the first one that put you in a position to win. You ask the question. You don't want to answer. You want to answer your own question.
That's a straightforward question.
So
which of those scenarios are more consequential to the outcome of the game, boss?
So he's answering you. He's answering you.
Question I asked.
Yes, so he's answering Pioneer. Just hold on, let him answer. Go
No,
ahead.
I said,
please. Yeah.
The one that put you in the best position to win. Doesn't mean it's the last
one. That puts you in the position, the one that actually wins you the game.
The one that put you in a position to win the game. So, Pioneer. No, answer the question. Pioneer, answer the question. Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
If you opposition has the ball.
No, man. Don't answer my question by asking me a question.
I'm give you a scenario to point my point.
So just
Pioneer.
Yeah, go ahead.
If Reggie Miller didn't steal the ball, he didn't steal the ball. Would they have won that game against the Knicks when they were down 8 points with how many seconds remaining? If he didn't make the first steal from Anthony, would they put themselves in a position to win?
But they still hadn't lost the game. He still had a chance to win the game. And that is why I keep on telling you, gentlemen, that sports is dynamic.
Pioneer.
So hold on, man, ask me a question.
Pioneer. All right, so Pioneer, listen what I'm saying to you, Pioneer. I have on headphones. They are very loud, sir. That's all I'm telling you. So hold on, Pioneer.
Say that.
Just Pioneer. All right, so here's the thing. I'm going to ask Cranky to host it because it's not good for me. I'm telling you because I'm having a headache. Remember I told you that. That's all I'm saying. And
not that problem. I will turn on my mic.
Yeah. So go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Cranky, with your question.
So here's my thing, Pioneer. We have to agree to disagree because you can't convince me.
No, hold on. That's not how people debate, Betty. I'm saying to you.
No. You're not debating. You're bullying your position. You're not debating. You're bullying your position to get your point. You're not debating. That's not debate.
I will be a little less vocal and let the points them come out. I'll be a little less vocal and more potent in my argument. Because believe me, now, when I talk soft, them hit harder. And believe Chris Lynch can tell. So listen. If up to the point of Reggie Miller stealing the ball, and this is what I'm telling you, it's dynamic. All right. You just asked me a question. If Reggie Miller hadn't stolen the ball, if the Indiana Pacers could have won that. I don't know. But what I do know is that I don't know, because sports is dynamic. Something else could have happened. So somebody from the Knicks could have turned over the ball and another Indiana Pacer player got it. And the sequence of play might have evolved in a different way, and the Indiana Pacers still had a chance to win. And this is what I'm telling about the dynamic nature of sport. What I do know for a fact is that when Reggie Miller hit that last shot, the game was done. Because that was a buzzer beater, and that was final. There was no chance of, there was no chance of anything happening again. Henceforth, that play was the most consequential play of the game.
All right, Pioneer. Pioneer.
It is
Pioneer. Recently, right, in the Premier League, Liverpool and Fulham played a game that ended 4-3. And then Arsenal and Luton played a game, and Declan Rice scored to go 4-3 for Arsenal. All right? So both teams' games were tied, and the game ended up winning. Here's my question to you. 4 goals were scored by Liverpool. 4 goals were scored by Arsenal. All of them, you get 1 goal. That's the it's not like you get 2 points or 3 points.
That's the quantitative value. The quantitative,
yeah.
The kindergarten.
Is the
Garvey, me just have use the word of pioneer like use.
Which one of the goals are more important? Are more consequential? The goal that wins it.
The most consequential. All right, so let me say this. The first goal was consequential. So was the second goal. So was the third goal. So was the fourth goal. So was the fifth goal. So was the sixth goal.
No,
so
4. It's just 4. No matter. Yeah.
No, it was 4-3. So it was the sixth goal. But the most consequential goal of the game was that 7th goal that won the game. It has to be the most consequential because it has the greatest bearing on the team winning the game.
So the question then, Pioneer. So Pioneer, the question then is, the first goal that Arsenal scored was less consequential to the outcome of the game. The second goal was less consequential, and the third goal was less consequential to the outcome of the game.
Less consequential than what? Let's consequential.
No, obviously,
the outcome of the game.
To the outcome of the game.
But Preacher,
less consequential.
Can I ask you a question?
Consequential than the fourth goal.
Outcome of the game.
Preacher, can I ask you a question?
Is the most consequential. So the first goal is less consequential than the fourth goal to the outcome. The second goal is less consequential. The third goal is less consequential. But it needed 4 goals to win the game.
Preacher.
Right, let me ask you a question, Preacher. And the question after the first goal was scored, Preacher, was the game over?
The game wasn't over.
Good. After the second goal was scored, was the game over?
No, the game wasn't over.
After the second goal was scored, was the game over?
Gentlemen, Preacher.
I gotta make a point. Guys, I gotta make a point.
Pioneer, in the dynamic nature of sports, we don't just look at when a game starts and when a game ends. Sports is so dynamic. Sports, in the dynamic nature of sports, using your word, dynamic, we don't just talk about a game when it starts and when it ends. Because everything that happens in that game in terms of goals that were scored had an influence over the total trajectory of the game. So we cannot.
All right, hold on.
No, I have a point. I gotta make a point. Pioneer. We're playing a game. Pioneer, we're playing a game. 11 against 11, Pioneer. It's the first half, Pioneer. Man City is dominating Arsenal. Haaland gets a red card, right? Change the whole momentum of the game. Isn't that more consequential than anything that happens subsequently to that red card?
It's a possibility that could have the greatest consequence.
So that means the end of the game can't be the most consequential thing. Defense rest.
But at no time. No, but hold on. Pause. Let me clear. Can't welcome. Hold on, please. Hold on, man before you start skinning your teeth. Hold on. Let me be clear.
All right.
Can I say something?
You came to the conversation late. Cranky, hold on, please. Allow me, Cranky. You came to the conversation late. I have never been one that says it is the end of the game that is most consequential. My philosophy, Cranky, if you didn't hear before, saying is that it's time and score that determines importance in sports. And Preacher knows this. And I've said to Preacher consistently that I can point to points early in games that I would say
blowout games. Then they are blowout games.
It is hold on, Virgin, hold on. It is only when we come down, I go back to basketball. It is only when we come down to a buzzer beater situation. I've been at pains to say this. There is no shot, no point that can be more important than a game winner or the point that wins the game. However,
can I say something now?
For example, in a game that is a blowout, cranky, then the fourth quarter at the end of the game doesn't carry the same significance or the same bearing as in a game that is close down the stretch. So I am not one who goes for the hard and fast. That is always the end of the game that is important, brother.
Can I say something now, please? We just need 2 seconds to say something. Can I get 2 seconds, please?
All right, Garvey. Let me go ahead, Garvey.
let me thank Mannings man and Cranky. You wanna teach me something tonight. You know what teach me say? Wanna teach me say there's a difference between a goal that breaks a 2-2 tie and a goal that breaks a 3-3 tie. First me know that in my life. It's the biggest nonsensical reason me ever hear in my life. Any goal that breaks a tie must be the most important goal. Especially, hold on, Cranky, can I ask you a question? The goal that Leon Bailey scored yesterday, apart from being the game, why did it win the game? Because it broke a tie, right?
It was the only goal scored.
And it broke the tie, right?
It's
so if them, hold on. Hold on, now, Cranky. So question to you tomorrow now. Hold on. Question to you tomorrow now, Cranky. If Manchester City and Villa play again next week and the score is 1-1, and Leon Bailey does the same thing in the 94th minute and win the game, that is not the most important goal again?
It depends on facts and circumstances. Not talking about the goal. Not talking about the goal.
The context of the game.
No, it's not goal.
Context of the game.
You're talking about the point. You're confusing goal with actually the scenario, the facts and circumstances that informs that outcome, not just the goal. You're confusing the goal that is the most influential thing that may happen at a point in time. Somebody could make a mistake that caused the goal, which is more consequential than the goal itself.
No, okay, I agree. The mistake is consequential, but the goal is going to be more consequential.
So the man who tore the ball off of the line when it was going in the goal after Leon Bailey got up 2-1 for Man City, right? Aston Villa is about to draw the game. The ball will go over the goal and the defender come to it off of the line and Leon Bailey them win 2-1. That not consequential? That not important?
Very consequential. Very consequential. Very consequential. Very consequential. But
that is important in the outcome. Only the goals alone influence
Pioneer in life.
Very important.
All in life. Always thinking about root cause. Pioneer. Root cause. The cause of the goal.
No, man. Remember, hold on.
No. Let me finish.
Pioneer.
The cause of the goal was the mistake made. That means the goal can't be more than important than mistake. Mistake never happened. The goal would never happen. If the mistake didn't happen, the goal could never happen.
The mistake. Remember that the mistake could happen and that person misses the goal.
No. I said the mistake didn't happen, the goal could never happen.
Hold on, Cranky. Remember that the mistake happened and the goal is still missed.
All right, let me ask
you. It's the conversion and putting the goal at the ball in the back of the net that is most important.
Chris Lynch has been said. Let me hear from Chris Lynch because if I go back to you remember when Liverpool when Steven Gerrard had a slip, you know what people talk about?
The slip.
The Steven Gerrard slip.
Nobody talk about the goal.
Yes,
not the goal.
But the player doesn't convert.
No,
the player doesn't know what happened, Pioneer. We know what happened. We don't need to say it. We know what happened. The player converted. We know what happened.
But what we remember,
which is most important.
Why are we talking about if the player never converted?
All right. Let me get from Chris Lynch.
What I'm manning? Give me 10 seconds. Give me 10 seconds. Let me ask you a question. When Steven Gerrard slipped, that exact moment when he slipped, did Liverpool lose the title? That slip. Just the slip. Did they lose the title the moment that he slipped? Yes or no?
It is what led to them losing the title.
I ask a question and then I come down to time and score now. Come back to my answer. No. I ask a specific.
Yes. They lost the title because they never can recover from that. They couldn't recover from it. They never recovered.
What are the man? At the moment that he slipped and lost the ball.
But I'm answering you. I am saying when I look back at that season, the moment Steven Gerrard slipped, seeing that it is past, was when Liverpool lost the title.
Liverpool lost the title when the player capitalized on the slip and slapped the ball on the back of the net. Man, if he doesn't slap the ball on the back of the net, Steven Gerrard could slip 15 times and then lose the title.
Nobody thought that Steven Gerrard slip cannot be ignored.
Man, what is happening is there's a micro analysis taking place. A micro analysis that takes place that only looks at the final result of everything that happened.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Pioneer, hold on. You're breaking up a little bit. You're breaking up. Chris Lynch, you're breaking up.
Pioneer's being tactical and we're being strategic. That's all it is.
Yeah, but I feel like never repeat what Cranky said because basically Pioneer arguing on one scenario that fits his narrative. Like I tell you, all I hear is one scenario that fits his narrative. Now, when you put, because we know what happened, and Pioneer want to argue about what if that didn't happen. You see what I'm saying? Him always want to argue about something. Even the facts are there, Pioneer don't want to argue the facts.
Let me ask this question. All right, let me ask
Chris, I'm arguing the facts,
Pioneer, let me ask you and Garvey this question. What you guys are using, right? Does it apply across the board for sports that have quarters and half? Or it is just a basketball, hold on. Or is it just a basketball specific scenario during a specific time alone that this is applicable?
All right, so I'm going to answer that this way. Different sports have different dynamics. For example, my phone off mute. I don't know if you mute me as a student then. You're hearing me clearly, gentlemen?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you.
All right, so I'm saying different sports have different dynamics. For example, in a football game, I could argue that players play with greater intensity at the beginning of a football game. So, oftentimes play with their greatest intensity. The truth is not the same for basketball. Players don't start basketball games with the kind of intensity. One, for the purpose of foul trouble. No player wants to get in early foul trouble, so they don't start as intense. Two is almost like a man save himself. A lot of basketball games are started at a low, very low intensity. Not all, but a lot. See, so that dynamic is different. We can go to a sport like cricket. See, I'm going to point to that little scenario here in cricket. And I have cited this example.
Pioneer, stay away from the cricket thing, please.
I'm going to cricket, man. No, man, I want to know something. I'm afraid of nothing. You know? If there's anything that you guys should know about me, is that I'm fearless when it comes to sporting discussion. I will take on anything at any time, anywhere with anybody. You know that. So I'm going to say,
you don't know how to lose. You don't know how to give in when you lose. I'll keep going.
Hello, man. For example, I can say a 6 that is hit in the first innings when a team is setting a score. See? Cannot be equivalent and equate to a 6 that is hit when I'm in the 49th over with 4 balls gone out of the over. I'm a 11 runs, which means I need 11 runs to win from 2 balls. What I will give you, Mannings, is that first 6 that is hit after the 49th over 5th ball is equivalent in importance to the one where you hit after the 6th ball, which means if you lick 1 6, then if you hit the other 6.
That's inconsistency. That is inconsistency.
You know why it can't be inconsistency? Because in no other sport, you know why? Because the dynamic of that means that I have to hit a 6.
But you need but the same in basketball. If you're down 4 in basketball, you need 5 points to win. If you're down by 11 runs in a cricket game and you're chasing, you need 12 runs to win. But you are telling us that the last shot in basketball is. Let me finish. You're telling us that the last shot in basketball is more important than the shot that preceded it. But in cricket, the 2 6s that you would have hit are of equal importance. That is inconsistency at its highest level.
You know why they are? You know why they are? Well, and then allow me to explain. Yeah.
What happened? We lost him, or did we lose Manning's man to power outage? Are you guys here?
Yeah, man, still here.
Are you still there, Pioneer? So I'm gonna say something about Pioneer. You know, in sports, when they talk about the turning point in the game, most times that's the most consequential part of the game, the turning point. They always ask, what was the turning point? The game is going along well and something transpired and says the turning point of the game. There's a rationale for that, which always says the most consequential part of that game where something occurred that changed the momentum, changed direction of travel, and changed ultimate outcome.
Exactly.
So always saying the end of the game, the last shot, the most consequential, flies in the way of that perspective. Because why talk about the turning point of the game then if it was going in a certain direction and it got pivot?
Agreed. And those things are qualitative things. Those things are not things that you have any quantifiable measurement for. When it comes on to score or runs, those things are quantifiable. You know, they're numeric. But turning point, changing momentum, those things you can discuss now in terms of consequence. I don't know where Pioneer is using mere points to determine consequence. It doesn't fly.
Well, the problem with Pioneer's reasoning is that he's not listening.
Preacher,
He's not. He doesn't want to hear what you have to say because he's set in his view. And instead of arguing with, he's listening to both points and then say, you know what, let me weigh the arguments. He's not hearing you at all because he's fixed that he's right and nothing can change his mind. And maybe we're reasoning the same way in some respects.
Hold on, man. Hold on.
Wait. Let me finish, Garvey. I'm saying that I hear his point. And a lot of times when we get hit within shot, it's dramatic. It's like the most important thing ever because the ultimate outcome was what transpired then. But the most important thing may have happened way upstream.
Let me answer a question. Frank.
Yes.
The Chicago Bulls are playing a game, right?
Yes.
Michael Jordan scores 55 points.
Yes.
He falls out of the game with 3 minutes remaining.
Right.
The game is tied with 5 seconds left. The Chicago Bulls have the ball, and Judd Bushler hits a 3-pointer with 0.1 second left to give them the win by 3 points. Who has scored the most important basket that night for the Bulls?
I have no idea. Depends on what point in the game somebody scored something which changed momentum. So I can tell that's the most important. It was the most dramatic one, but I'm going to say the most important one.
But I'm glad Garvey asked that question. I'm very happy he did. Because if Judd Bushler scores that 3 that he just spoke about, and that is his only basket for the game, Michael Jordan, we'll be talking about Michael Jordan's 55 points more than we'll be talking about Judd Bushler's 3 points.
And but that is a different argument. Is a different argument. You're talking about the player of the game. Listen,
you're establishing. Your point is that 3-point shot was the most important shot.
Preacher, you know what you sound like? It is. Preacher, listen to this. This goes back to the same. Hold on, Preacher. You know what? I'm glad you brought that up. This goes back to the same cricket conversation I was having with those guys on the radio. Listen to this, Preacher. So the West Indies are chasing 280 runs to win, right? Brian Lara makes 120 runs. There is a bowler on the opposite team that took 6 wickets, including Lara's wicket. But now here we are at 279 for 9. The West Indies need 1 run to win. Courtney Walsh walks to the wicket, right? You know how important that last wicket is, Preacher. I guarantee you, if that bowler gets that wicket and the West Indies loses by 1 run, that bowler will, the guy that got the 6 wickets will be man of the match. If Courtney Walsh scores that 1 run and the West Indies win, Brian Lara will be man of the match.
No, Garvey, that's
hold on. So you know what you're talking about there, Preacher? You're saying Michael Jordan was man of the match, just like Brian Lara, but he did not score the most important basket.
Godfrey, does the winning team always have the man of the match?
99% of the time.
Is it 100% of the time?
99.99% of the time.
Is it 100% of the time?
Hold on,
I don't know any games.
So you can't be 100% right. The argument is not foolproof.
Brother, there is nothing in. But hold on. Cranky. Is there anything in sports that's 100%?
No, nothing in sports is 100.
So stop the rubbish. Stop the rubbish.
I agree.
Tomorrow, yes. Arsenal beat Villa tomorrow, yes.
So 99.99 is the closest you get to that. So relax.
The thing about, you see, my thing, Manning's Man and Chris Lynch is, and Garvey is this, and Cranky. Every sport has its own nuances, right? There are different things about different sports. But if you are going to establish a principle in your argument about the end of a game or the last quarter or the whatever, then that's a principle that you're establishing. So before a game even starts, Garvey, you are telling us that the 4th quarter will be the most important quarter.
No. Preacher, we just established that nothing in sports is 100%. But based on, Preacher, based on the evidence that we have, when you look at the NBA, Preacher, when you look at the NBA and you realize that all the teams that play in the NBA, none of them have a plus minus margin over 10 points, you realize that majority,
Garvey,
over 75% of NBA games are going to
Garvey,
be tied or have a lead
Garvey,
change in the fourth
no,
quarter.
Garvey,
When would you want to
Garvey,
perform your
Garvey,
best?
Garvey,
Garvey, that is
preacher,
not true. But Garvey, that is not true. What you have
What?
done is misrepresent the
What?
actual data. The
What?
data is telling you, the
Hold
data
on,
is
Uh-huh.
telling
let him
hold on,
finish,
let
and
me
then
explain.
Chris.
Let me
Go ahead.
explain. Point differential is the total points you score versus the total points that are scored against you over the course of a season. Agree? Good. In some games, you will blow out teams, and in some games, teams will blow you out. Those two things contribute to point differential. It does not say that teams are going to be close throughout the season more than they are not going to be close throughout the season. It is simply telling you that these are the total points you scored over the season and the total points scored against you over the season. By itself, you cannot leave that and then come to the conclusion that games are going to be close in the fourth quarter. That's not how we analyze the data. No.
Hold on, Garvey. Hold on, Garvey. You muted.
What we have as a fact,
Just
Garvey, what we have as a fact is that you can lose the fourth quarter and still win an NBA game.
Yes, but what we also have as a fact is that 76% of NBA games are either tied or have a lead change in the fourth quarter.
But the conclusion cannot be that the fourth quarter is more important simply
So hold
because
on, preacher,
so hold
preacher.
on, Garvey,
So preacher.
hold on, because Chris Lynch have been trying to get a word in, and I think when I hung up, you weren't here in Pioneer, don't it? So I need to.
no.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
get back there.
I've been out of the discussion for a while.
Yeah, because
I've been out of the discussion for a while.
Yeah, man. Hold on, Pioneer.
I have a question for Pioneer. When we're done, Chris. When you're done, Chris, I have a question for Pioneer.
Yeah. So Chris Lynch.
To be honest, to Garvey and Pioneer, I think they have conceded this fourth quarter thing. I think Pioneer now realized that, and he has conceded that, and he has moved towards shots at the last part of the game. I think the fourth quarter being more important. That has been established that there cannot be a quarter, that the only quarter in basketball that people call garbage time is the most important quarter. No other quarter in basketball you have any garbage time. Again, you can lose 3 quarters in basketball. You can win only quarter 1, lose quarter 2, 3, and 4, and win a basketball game. So it cannot be that any quarter is more important than none. Garvey talk about statistics. Scientists did a research on this. Garvey has that information, but cannot present it because scientists at a big university went about and they concluded that no quarter can be more important than none. And so Garvey telling us about how much percent of this happened. Lead change happened in the basketball game throughout in every quarter. Why is he focusing on the fourth quarter? Because he thinks the fourth quarter is more important. So he focused on the fourth quarter. But league change happened and ties happen in quarter 1, 2, and 3. Just as much as quarter 4. So, but because he thinks the fourth quarter is more important, he brought that to the table. And I think that Garvey is going to hug up on that. And like Frankie said, he won't change from that. But there's no evidence suggests that fourth quarter is more important.
All right, so let's go to Cranky and then we'll come to you, Pioneer, because you've been out for a while. Cranky,
So there's a couple of things actually. So
no man, just keep the point. Pioneer, we're going to come to you, Cranky, because Cranky also has.
You know what? I'm gonna use the Pioneer because he's
no man, because ask a question because I want him to answer Chris Lynch and you in the same time.
No, because the conversation is changing, right? So we're moving from the last shot to now last quarter. So the conversation is shifting because I thought Pioneer was saying the last shot is the most important shot if the ball goes in. Right, Pioneer? Am I wrong on that?
All right. So let me respond to something.
Most consequential. No, yes or no? Yes or no?
No. He wants to know if the conversation is shifting first.
Yes.
No. Listen, I was never at the fourth quarter, and that was never my argument. My philosophy, again, people, and I'll be at pains to explain it. It is time and score that determines importance in sport. There is no more important time, saying in a game, in a close game, than a shot to win that game. The shot that we call the game win, a shot that is a buzzer beater, happens with.
All right, stop there. Wait, one second. I'm gonna address that. So it is 2 seconds remaining on the clock. 2 seconds remaining on the clock. You're down 2.
Yeah.
You're down 2, right?
Yeah.
I'm going in for a layup, and it's a clear. I'm clear going in for the layup, and LeBron James is coming from God knows when to block my shot. I would have gone. It would have been 4, and it would only be 1 second left on the clock. My shot got blocked. A timeout was taken 1 second. The ball could be moved up court. The ball is thrown in. The shot won the game. It's a 3-pointer. Which was more dramatic, the block or the shot that I scored?
The shot that is scored. That was most impactful and most consequential in the game.
So if I'm in for the layup, it's gonna be 4 points.
Yeah,
1 second remaining. That means if I didn't block the shot, there's no way the 3-pointer would have won the game. I've still lost the game. And you said the 3-pointer is more important. We don't argue with you. I can't argue no more, man. I can't argue no more.
Hold on.
Go ahead. Your time, Pioneer. You have the floor.
Hold on. And again, no, and that falls right in line with my concept, And in a situation like that, Cranky, to be fair to it, I could ascribe, and similar to what I did with the 260s in cricket, I could ascribe maybe similar importance in a situation where, again, and I want you to understand my concept, it is time and score. The time of that block, Cranky, will say to me, if you ever execute that block at that with 1 second left on the clock, right, so then you wouldn't get a chance to go hit the tree. So I could almost ascribe equal value to the block as to the shot. However, if there was hold on, because again, it's hold on, man, in zone laugh at my thing. My concept is simple. It is time and score that determines importance in sports. See? So at that time, that was a very important blocking of the game because guess what? There would have been no time left on the clock. However, if that block happens with 5 seconds left on the clock or 10 seconds left on the clock, it does not carry the same significance. It doesn't carry the same importance. Please understand my concept. It is basic and it's simple. It's a philosophy we live by in a sporting reason. Listen, again.
It's not as basic as simple as you're making it because we don't understand.
Please, preacher. I was quiet for about 15 minutes and everybody spoke. Allow me, please. Don't disturb me. Let me finish saying what I'm saying, and then I'm going to be quiet again, and you gentlemen will get a chance to respond to everything that I'm saying. Listen what I'm saying now, people. Again, let me start. It is time and score that determines the importance of everything in sport. The time of that block, Cranky, with 1 second left on the clock, which means you take a block and you go out and you get the ball, so you only have 1 second. So which means that you don't have no more time. So again, now it's time and the score. See? However, as I say, if that block happens with 10 seconds left on the clock, it not carry the same significance as it does when there is 1 second left on the clock. You understand what I say? So if there is 10 seconds left on the clock, the dynamics of the game means that something else could happen to change the trajectory of the game. However, with 1 second left on the clock, the only thing you can do is inbound and shoot a shot. So I could almost, I will ascribe in a case like that, just like I did with the just like I did with the 260s, I will ascribe equal importance to those. Because if one happens, next one can happen. However, with 10 seconds left, I'm going to ascribe the same importance to that block when we ascribe to it with 1 second left in the game. And that speaks directly to my principle of it is time and score that determines importance in sport.
So, Pioneer, let me say this, Pioneer. First of all, it's interesting that you only give equal importance to the block, but you give more importance to the last shot.
Exactly.
Which is contradictory in its nature because the shot couldn't happen without the block.
Exactly.
So the shot has to be least important than the block. And the shot couldn't happen.
If you're going to call anything important there, so the first action that one stop the other team from scoring and also put you in a position to win would carry greater importance because it did two things. It limited the scoring of the opponent and it gave you an opportunity to also win the game.
Give me a chance to respond to that. Give me a chance, please.
Yeah, Pioneer.
Give me a chance to respond. This is something. Give me a chance to respond.
Pioneer, you're going to respond on the same point. What I will say, where I could side with Pioneer, if he said to me, there was more pressure in making that final shot, given the situation of the game.
Agreed.
That I can agree with. There was more pressure on the person to make that shot.
All right, allow me now. So I just heard I just heard both gentlemen say they will ascribe more importance to one than the other. See?
No, Pioneer. You never heard us say that.
I said
We are saying that you. No, Pioneer. We're saying you, based on your importance and consequence and significance argument, are being rather disingenuous by giving more importance to the scoring, but not more importance to something that
did you just
in a position to score.
Richard,
Don't put words in my mouth.
Pioneer, let him finish.
No, don't put words in my mouth.
Pioneer, let him finish. Pioneer, just let him finish.
Pioneer, I did not say one was more important. My position is, in the context of the game, all points are the same. My position is moments in a game might be more consequential than other moments in a game. That's my position, and you know it quite well. Your position is some things are more important than others. And Cranky's scenario, you give equal importance to a block that stopped the opponent from going up 2 more points that would have put you out of the game altogether, and also gave you an opportunity to score 2 points. So that block did 2 things. That block limited your opponent's scoring, and that block gave you an opportunity to win the game. And yet, you give equal importance. Not more important, but you're the man who looks at significance, consequence, importance, and yet the points continue to have equal importance. So I believe with Cranky, that is inconsistency.
All right, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead, no, Pioneer. Your response.
First, address one I try to say. All right, so the shot, if the block doesn't happen, the shot don't happen, right? Because if the block doesn't happen,
if the block don't happen, you lose the game, Pioneer. If the block don't happen, you lose the game.
Yes. Good, and I can accede to that. However, if you get the block and don't get the shot, then you lose the game too, right?
The 2 things are interdependent, but one precedes the other in terms of. Good.
All right, fine. So as I said, preacher, similar to what I do with the 2 6s, we are going to win the game when you want 11. I will ascribe equal importance to both things. Because you know why?
The shot is no longer more important. That's all I want to know. From the shot no more longer important, everything good, brother.
All right, go ahead.
Can I join the discussion here?
Like a bias. But Mannings, if you're moderating the Mannings, man, I stop sound bias in the thing.
I have a couple of questions I want to ask.
Go ahead, Pioneer.
I want
to ask.
Just give me a
But Gavin, hold on, because Pioneer said me nothing.
Hold on, Gavin.
Me nothing laugh.
No, man, Mannings, stop sound like you be cynical, not the reason.
You see why I want you see why I ask you to host the thing? Because no.
No, man. Brother, you must can host the thing. And be mutual. Even though you come down once. Be mutual. I'm saying I have a principle, a concept, a philosophy, a theory that says it is time and score that determines importance in sports. That is where I started discussion, not the 4th quarter like Christy that tried to imply earlier. That was Garvey's argument. And when Garvey made that argument, I went straight to Garvey and said, Garvey, let me tell you, my philosophy is, and Garvey can attest to this, it is time and score that determines importance in sports. Now, I gave a scenario of a cricket match. Seeing when we need 12 runs from 2 balls, which means we have to hit 2 6. So I said, I apply equal importance to each 6 that is hit, because if one not happen, the next one can't happen. If one happen, the next one happen, then you lose the game. Now, can't you come up with a scenario? Seeing that the time and the score are going to dictate that they have 2 events have to happen in order to give me a chance to win this game. The block and the shot. If the block happens and the shot not happen, we lose the game. There's no way that we get to the shot without the block happening. So both things have to happen for my team to win the game. I say, based on the time and the score, I will apply equal importance to both events. However, I also moved the argument and said, if I am 10, not 1 second left, but if I am 10 seconds left, that block does not have the same significance as it has with 1 second left on the game. It falls right in line with my concept, my theory, my philosophy. It is the time and the score that determines. It is the finality and the urgency of that 1 second block that will allow me to ascribe a certain level of importance to it, vis-a-vis versus if it was 10 seconds left on the clock and that block were to happen or to be necessary. If it was 10 seconds left, the dynamics of the game would mean that I would still have a chance to win that game. I could get a steal, there could be a turnover, I could foul and the opponent miss their 2 free throws. You understand? So, again, My theory, my borrow your word, Garvey. My theory is impregnable. Seeing it is the time and the score that determines
Garvey
the
has used that word
importance.
Hold on.
Garvey's
Can I join the discussion right here?
fourth
More
quarter
piggyback off
argument
of
was also impregnable, but you don't agree
Hold
with
on.
it.
Hold on.
Garvey said the
Preacher.
fourth quarter
Preacher.
was important. He said it was
Preacher. Hold
impregnable.
on. Let me piggyback. Hold on. Preacher, let me piggyback off of what Pioneer just said and go back to my fourth quarter argument. He said time and score is important. No, gentlemen, let's all agree on this. When the fourth quarter begins, you have less time remaining in the game than at the start of any other quarter. We all agree on that, right?
Yeah, man.
Yes, we do.
So let me ask you this, Preacher. If it is your team, Preacher, and I said to you before again, Preacher, in one quarter of the game, your team is going to be up 20. Which quarter would you want your team to be up 20 in the most, Preacher?
Well, given the fact that 100% of the time you win when you are leading at the end of the game, I want that to happen at the end of the game.
No. I said quarter. I said to you, Preacher, hold on. Before a game, if I said to you, Preacher, your team will be up 20 in one single quarter in this game, which quarter would you want to be up 20 in?
Given the fact that 100% of the time you win when your team is leading
at the end of the game. Since you run, let me ask you another question. Since you're running, let me ask you another question.
I'm answering your question.
All right,
apparently,
cool. You're running.
Apparently, you have an answer that I must give you.
Okay, let me ask. Okay, all right, fine. Run from that. Let's answer this one.
The answer is the fourth quarter when the game is done.
Garvey, can I answer you? Garvey, can I answer you?
Yeah, one. Which one?
And it depends if I'm winning the game or if I'm losing the game.
Okay, I said before the game, so you're not winning or losing.
No.
I'm giving you the choice. I'm giving you the choice before the game starts.
Scenario analysis.
Yeah, but
my scenario is I'm
losing. One more question, please. One more question, no? Look how long may I listen. One more question, Preacher. One more question, please. Then I can't take it back. I can't answer a question on it.
Question, but the person that don't answer the question. The person answering the question.
I just answered. I said I want to have the.
All right, fine. You answered. Let me ask you another question. All right, that is a ridiculous answer. But let me ask you another question.
That's a ridiculous answer.
Preacher, if before the game I said to you, Preacher, at some point in this game, your team will be down 20. In one of these quarters, your team will be down 20. Which is the last quarter you would want to be down 20 in?
Oh, sorry.
The fourth quarter.
Exactly, because it's time and score. Anything practical that happens in another quarter, that happens in the fourth quarter, it becomes more consequential. If a team goes on because of time and score. If a team establishes a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, it is more damaging than in any other quarter.
I have a question for you. Because you gotta flip the conversation. If you are losing the game, which quarter would you want to be losing by 20 points in of all four quarters?
The first quarter.
So what was it? Why are you using?
Because I had more time to recover.
Exactly, but you said the fourth quarter is the most consequential.
That's what I'm saying. So if I'm gonna lose by 20, So if I'm gonna lose by 20, I rather lose by 20 in the first. But if I'm gonna win by 20, I rather win by 20 in the fourth.
No. I have this, but I'm getting myself the best chance to win by being down 20 in the first quarter, not the fourth quarter. If I want to win the game,
I did not say you should be down. You're not understanding. I did not say you should be down 20 in the fourth. I am saying if it is your team and I gave you the choice of being up 20 in any quarter before the game, you would select the fourth.
I get it. You give me your scenario.
That's exactly what I was explaining earlier.
So Chris Lynch, anything that okay, Chris Lynch, I'm glad you're here. Let me explain to you, Chris Lynch.
But try to get each scenario, and now you don't want to accept it. Your scenario is not the only scenario that can happen. That's what Chris Lynch explained. You're behaving like only thing can happen in a basketball game is a team down 20 points in the fourth quarter. Cranky is saying a team can be down 30 points in the first quarter. So what makes the fourth quarter more important than the first? It's simple, Garvey. You think your example is so big because you want to stuck in that example and don't understand the other examples.
Exactly.
I like
I've
this.
watched.
Let me hold on. Let me take a couple of comments because I've not been reading some of the comments, right? James says, what's important is subjective. It depends why you want to watch something amazing can happen at any point in the game. The last 10 minutes, yes, will always be when the game ends. Big Mac says there is no plausible explanation that can be given to illustrate that fourth quarter points are more important than first quarter points. All right. All right. So Preacher said he wanted to say something.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of basketball games, and I have seen enough games where teams, as Chris Lynch established, teams won the first quarter, lose the second, lose the third, lose the fourth, and still end up winning
But that's
the
a silly point. That's a silly point. We all know that.
Garvey, there are things that you have said that we know, and we have allowed you to say. So
That's like talking to my grandson.
I'm not sure if simply saying what people know makes the point silly. Secondly, we have seen teams win the fourth quarter handsomely and lose the game, right?
So can I say something, Preacher?
Can I finish what I'm saying?
Just let him finish.
Let him finish the Pioneer, man.
All right, let Pioneer go. Let Pioneer go. Go ahead, Pioneer. Time on score is important.
Something is really, Preacher. I'm gonna allow you. The scenarios that you're pointing out, Preacher, they are not often seen in basket.
I don't know what you're talking about. You have no evidence to prove that they're not often.
I do. I gave you the stat, Preacher. I gave you the stat. 76% of games. 76
to suggest
Preacher,
that teams who
76% of games are either tied or have a lead change in the fourth quarter. That is a fact.
82% of the teams who lead at the end of the third quarter end
but
up
how much are they leading by?
It does not matter. It does not matter how much they're
Hey, we have to end the show. I can't manage because nobody's listening. The people not hearing it, so it don't make any sense to do it. You understand me? We think it's better.
What is disingenuous, you know?
No, Preacher, all of you making point, but here's the thing. If we have to allow one person to finish, the people are not hearing what is being said. So
no man's man, you're wrong there. So for the most part, we have allowed each other to speak. 1 and 2 times a man might talk over a man, but to say you're gonna end the show is kind of being ridiculous. You need to relax, man's man. I have heard a lot from everybody. You need to relax a little, man's man. Make the show flow.
All right.
Let me finish the point and give the man back the mic.
Yeah.
Statistically, 82% of teams who have a lead going into the fourth quarter wins the game. 82%. So when Pioneer says to me, what I'm talking about is not often. Pioneer he doesn't have any stat at all, right? To argue that. And also, even if the game ends up being close in the fourth, it tells you that once you have established a significant enough lead, or once you are put in a position where you're leading the game, your chances of winning that game is greater. So any argument that puts the fourth quarter as more important than first, second, or third quarter is a non-argument based on that statistic alone. Crunch time is solely dependent on what happens in the first, second, and third quarter. You cannot have
Preacher, once the game becomes tied now, it is no crunch time. It's what you do from that point in the fourth quarter moving forward.
If a game is tied in the second quarter, is there crunch time in the second quarter?
No, but hold on. If a game is tied with 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, that's a crunch time.
All right, so let me say this.
But that is totally dependent on everything else that would have happened in quarters 1.
I'm not saying that was not important, but are you going to tell me, say, after all that happened and the game becomes tied at the 6-minute mark in the fourth quarter, that is now not more important than what happened before?
No, it's not. And I want to close by saying this. Yeah. All things are not the same once the game has started.
All right, so here's what I want to learn.
Let me finish now, man.
Sorry.
Even if the scores are tied at the fourth quarter, the dynamics of the game would have significantly changed from when the game just tipped off. several things could have happened in that game. You could have lost your best player, or your best player could be in foul trouble. The referees could be refereeing the game a certain way, not allowing physicality. Don't treat a tied game in the fourth quarter as the same as you would treat a game when it just starts, because it's not one and the same.
One question to you. Which quarter do you think fatigue is more likely to play a role in an NBA game?
I could say that you're being silly now, because everybody knows that the longer a game goes on, the more fatigue is likely. So
that's why the fourth quarter.
So when you ask what people, know, Garvey, that come on.
Which quarter do coaches save their timeouts for?
All right, Cranky.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Cranky.
Why are we arguing which is most important, the chicken or the egg? Why are we doing that?
All right. So I'm going.
What's more important, the chicken or the egg? Which one is more important, the chicken or the egg? No, man, I want Garvey to answer that question. Garvey, what's more important, the chicken or the egg, Garvey?
You know what's more important? Patrick Mahomes is the greatest active sports team man in the world. That's what you need to know, Cranky.
Gentlemen. Hold on. Let me get this into that, please.
Yeah. So let me say this. A couple of things. All right. So hold on, Pioneer. Let me say this, right? I believe that in sports, if we're going to talk about quarters and moments in the different quarters, then we also have to talk about halves in games and moments. So let's take the scenarios, because we can paint all different kind of scenarios, but let's formulate a principle that can apply to the sporting disciplines with halves and quarters. Now, I am familiar with the sport of football. Soccer, you want to call it football. So a goalkeeper making a save in the 60th minute could be the most important play in a football game, because that save alone has a man gets away one-on-one and he makes the most fantastic save, right? Though a goal was scored in the 10th minute, that 60th minute save could have been the one thing that allowed this team to walk away with 3 points. Watch this. That game is even tied, right? But that save that he made, right, stopped the opponent from either taking the lead, and then his team scored in the 48th minute. He saved a penalty, and the team scored in the 78th minute to win the game with 12 minutes remaining. You see that save that the keeper made from the penalty could even cause him to get the match. So I think what we need to say is that it is the moments. The moments can fall anywhere in halves and quarters.
Mannings, can I ask you something though?
Go ahead.
Since you're gonna soccer, Mannings. Okay, Mannings. If I say to you before a soccer game, your team is going to be up 3-0 in one of these halves. Which one of the half? You don't want to be up 3-0 in the second half or the first half?
Yeah, but all right, so let me answer you like this, Garvey. I have painted possible scenarios. There is no possible case where what you're saying can happen.
Okay, question to you.
Gentlemen,
if you're going to be down 2-0 in a soccer match, wouldn't you want to be down 2-0 in the first half and have more time to recover than go down 2-0 right after halftime and have less time to recover?
We can't have a discussion like this and paint a scenario that we don't know the probability of it happening. That's what I'm saying.
Hold on, man. Please, give me a chance, gentlemen. Please.
Yeah.
Mannings, you just said something. I may have so much to say. You see, on the notice, me the only one in the thing. You know. I noticed tonight have been let me say, conspicuously quiet. You see, I shut my mouth and I behave myself.
In your own mind. In your own mind. But keep going. In your own mind, but keep going.
I said, holding myself. So let me come on, I just something here speech. I said, hey, Cranky, don't say nothing here. Wait, my brother, hold on. Money, let me ask you a question now, see?
Yeah.
The scenario just pointed with the keeper saving a goal in the 60th minute.
No, you don't save a goal. No, he didn't save a goal.
You said, I save.
If it's a goal, he can't save it.
Oh, he saved that. He saved that ball. What about the semantics question? You may say no. Carry the same consequence. Hold on, my brother. Nobody joke on the thing, man. We could have a discussion. Does that save carry the same consequence in the 60th minute as if he did that in the 91st minute?
Yes, because the save in the 60th minute could be the reason why the team gets 3 points at the end. That's what I'm saying. The moments can happen.
Does the team?
All right. Yeah,
no, hold on, Cranky. Consequence.
Yeah, because and that is why a block in the like one of those, sometimes the players are coming off and they shoot a basket even from half line and it end up scoring. The team wins by 3 points. And it is that basket they go back to, because when you look at the whole game and the context of the game, that basket from half line when they were walking off the court was the most
No, that is because it's spectacular.
Tell me a game like that, no? Tell me a game like that, Mannings, man. Give me a practical example.
Give me a chance, please. Come on, address something here, preacher. Come with Mannings.
Yes, sir.
Time on score again. If I'm gonna make a save in the 60th minute, the chances that the team are gonna have some additional chance to score upon it. If you make it in the 91st minute, there's less chances and less likelihood that the time are gonna allow the team to have the same opportunities to have another attack. Now the 60th minute, them probably gonna have 12 more attacks at his goal. In the 91st minute,
listen what I said. Listen what I said, Pioneer.
Again, allow me a version, please.
Listen what I said.
Man,
my goalkeeper, Pioneer, saved a penalty in the 60th minute of the game. My team scores, my center forward score in the 80th minute. We win the game by a goal to nil. What was which one had the greatest consequences on the outcome of the game?
The goal is scoring at the 80th minute. But let me move on from this. Come on, I want to get bogged down this. Let me dismiss preacher. Let me dismiss something here, preacher. See? Preacher said, see, a lot of games that he watched, teams go up big in the first quarter, lose the second, lose the third, lose the fourth. I said to him, that doesn't often happen. And he also points out that a lot of games, teams lose the fourth quarter and still win the game or whatever it was. And then he points.
I never said a lot of games team lose the fourth. I said there have been games where teams lose the fourth and them still win. I did say a lot of games team go up in the first and lose the second. No, I want to make. You see, because me I deal with you, Pioneer. You see, because me I deal with you and you deal with words and you want to make sure say your words them are spot on. You want to make sure I want you make sure my words them are clear, Pioneer. What I said was
your words are clear, Brad.
No, but you misquote me now. You misquote me. So I make sure clear. I said
rephrase what I said, my boy.
Teams have won the fourth quarter, lost games. I've seen games where teams have gone up early in the first, lose the second, lose the third, lose the fourth, and still win games. I said statistically.
I said that is random. I just said I have no data. But then you
said that rarely happens. You said it rarely happens, not random. You didn't say it random. You said it rarely happens.
Really random.
I said to you, 82% of the time when a team is leading going into the fourth quarter, they end up winning. So make sure you say everything when we're saying.
Stick up in. No, stick up in right there. You posited that as if you were presenting that as an extension of your argument. Teams going into the fourth quarter with a lead not necessarily means that they won the first quarter and lost the second and lost the third. The scenario could be that they lost the first.
I never posited it as an extension. You are making it an extension.
As if it was a defense argument.
You are making it an extension, and that is how you debate. What you do is you try to make things. You are conflating two different things. No, that's what you're doing. No, that's what you are doing. You're conflating two different things to try and make an argument. I pointed out three distinct things. I pointed out three distinct things. No, you were not the one who was speaking. It was Garvey and I were having this discussion, not me and you. Garvey and I were having this discussion.
I interjected.
And I pointed out three substantive. And what you're doing now, you're trying to conflate two things and then try to rebut a point.
You conflated them, preacher. You bring it in. You bring it in, brother. You bring it in. All right, gentlemen.
Is it a lie? Is it a lie that teams win the fourth quarter and end up losing games? No. Is it a lie that teams?
No, it's not a lie. But I said it really happened. I said the scenario you pointed about. The first quarter,
instead of majoring on the minors here, what you need to do is establish to us how it is possible that 2 points is more valuable than.
But that's what you're doing, preacher. You're going to a scenario where team win the first quarter.
I am painting no scenarios. You guys paint the most scenarios in here. Garvey and Pioneer become painters of scenarios.
Hold on, brother. Allow me now. So let me say this now. This is what I say. And I want to simplify the discussion for the people them in the comment section and everything. It is clear, and people who understand sports. For example, a turnover in the first quarter doesn't carry the same consequence as a turnover with 3 seconds left in the game.
There you go.
How do you know that? How do we know that? How do we know that?
Preacher, if you turn over the ball in the first quarter, if you turn over the ball in the first quarter when you are down by 5, because it has the same consequence on the game that if you turn over the ball with 3 seconds left on the clock and you're down by 5. Yes or no, preacher?
Depending on
Answer me, yes or no.
You cannot put me in a yes or no scenario because sports is too dynamic for you to ask me a yes or no question. Pioneer, you are the man who says sports dynamic, and now you want to limit the response in our sporting discussion to a yes or a no. That is ABC. Sports is too dynamic for you to ask me yes or no. I could turn listen to me.
And of course I know.
Yes,
but
you said that.
Hold on.
You are the one who said that. Let me answer your question. Let me answer your question.
Mannings, where you there? Judge.
I could turn over the ball in the first quarter, and it leads to my number one player, my best player, trying to recover that ball, getting an injury. You don't know the scenario. All you're doing is limiting the scenario to points.
I asked a simple question.
No, all you're doing is limiting a turnover to points. Turnovers don't always mean points. It could mean
several different when you get licks, you go to dreamland with your scenario.
Fourth quarter. You notice you're not talking about the fourth quarter anymore, Garvey. There's a reason why you're alone on this.
Who's that? Oh my goodness. Preacher, that is the only thing I've spoken about since I've been on.
Pioneer. All you're doing is equating a turnover to points. You're not looking at the impact that a turnover could have on the course of an entire game.
I did no such thing.
That's what you're doing ultimately, because you're suggesting that if you turn over the ball early in the game, you can recover. But if you turn over the ball late in the game, you can't recover. That is the essence of your argument.
All right. It's not a point, it's a position thing we are talking about now. So allow me, stop now. You see how long you're going for the one question? You answer my question by not even answer my.
You ask me a question.
Stop down. Preacher, Mannings, does it look like only when me are talking if you jump in, brother? You hear me answer no, preacher. And allow me, see? And this is enough fee. Preacher, well, obviously you're irredeemable on the subject, preacher. You have hunkered down on your position.
Yes.
And I have hunkered down because if you
have become impregnable, Pioneer. And the person who use impregnable lose so many arguments. It's not funny.
That's what I say. My preacher, you're dead in that way, but don't never get in it. Let me speak to the people in the comment section and the people who are watching now. Listen, and like the scenario I just pointed is simple. If you turn over the ball in the 5th minute of the first quarter, seeing and you're down by 5 people, you have the entirety of the game to recover from that turnover. Preacher talk about even if the point out to preacher scenario, your best player get injured, you still have not lost the game effectively. If you are down by 5 with 3 seconds left in the game, people, and you turn over the ball with 3 seconds left in the game, 99.9999% of times you're gonna lose that game. You have no time to recover. Seeing the opposition will get possession. We're not talking about points here, preacher. We're talking about possession. The opposition will get possession on the ball, and you are in a 2-possession game. See, so if you turn over the ball in a 2-possession game with 3 seconds left on the clock, you cannot recover. However,
recover. But Pioneer, you know what I would want to ask, preacher? Have teams ever won games without their best player?
Well, of course they have, Garvey. Well, on Garvey. However, so there's nobody who can say to me, it carries the same consequence. Consequence to turn over the ball with 3 seconds left in the game when you're down by 5, as if you were to turn it over in the 5th minute of the first quarter if you're down by 5. Anybody says that, it's a modern, stupid, and illogical argument.
So can I jump in here? Because Pioneer lacks awareness as to how much he dominates the conversation, which is very disappointing, actually.
Yeah.
Pioneer will tell you, I've waited for 10 minutes. Wait, Pioneer, can I? You're cutting in, right, Pioneer? I'm talking, you're cutting in, Pioneer. I'm talking and you're cutting in. You can't help yourself.
Go ahead.
let me say this again.
Talking to me, Virgin.
Pioneer, there are 5 people on the panel. So if there are 20 minutes in 20 minutes, that means everybody gets 4 minutes Pioneer. Not you get 15 and them get 5 and you say don't talk for 5 minutes. That's not
Thank you. You know, everybody on the panel.
Let me finish the panel. Let me finish the man.
You know, everybody except Christians.
Let
me finish the Pioneer. You know when you Pioneer, when you lost me tonight, man is going to give you a scenario. The goalkeeper saved the penalty in the 68th minute. The goal was scored in the 82nd minute. You know what you said? The most important is the goal being scored. The game could only tie if the ball wasn't scored. So how can it be more consequential if the game can only tie you when you get a positive when the goal being scored? You lost me right there, Pioneer.
Hold on there. When them scoring at the 82nd minute, them couldn't score again.
Wait. No. The game ended 1-0, he said. The game, how you going to score again when the game ended 1-0? What are you talking about? You said the game ended 1-0.
No, but but what I'm saying is, if the team had scored, it would have changed the whole mental approach of the other team.
You see the problem now?
I'm done. You know what, guys? I gotta leave because.
All right, Cranky. Let me ask you this. Cranky. In the World Cup just passed, right? In the World Cup just passed in 2022, right? Hold on, in 2022. Yeah, hear the question?
For Pioneer and for Garvey. They don't work
for
anybody else.
In the World Cup, just I one thing with preacher doing come with a whole heap of temper.
I'm angry.
Make a point, Garvey. Make your point, Garvey.
I was gonna ask you, right? In the World Cup just passed in 2022, there was a stat about Kylian Mbappe. That they said, hold on, they said of his 8 goals that he scored 6 of them after the 70th minute.
What that mean?
And those goals, hold on, those goals either tied his team or put his team ahead. Would you say those goals were more impactful than if he had scored them in the first half?
We don't know.
Wait. Did he score goals in the final? Did he score in the final?
Yes.
When did he score his goals?
In the last half of the game.
What was the outcome?
But listen, hold on. Did we just not say that? Hold on. But that is silly because we just established that nothing in sports is 100%.
I'm leaving.
That is a silly point.
I followed your example. I used your example and defeat your own argument.
Listen, you're pointing out, okay, how many games did France play in the World Cup? Them play 7 games and then lose 1. His goals caused them to win 6 games, and you point to the one where they lose and said that's how you're going to use.
You know what, man, I hear Pioneer talking about
so the majority don't rule anymore then.
Significance and consequence. As if to suggest that it is automatic.
No, don't say that.
It is as if to suggest that it's almost certain that if you
don't say that.
All right, as if to suggest that once you miss a shot early, it is guaranteed that you're going to.
You know why I'm telling him not to do that, man, because that is what they have done to me. What they have done to me, man, is that they have poisoned the public in Jamaica and say, hey, listen, Garvey is saying that even if a team loses a game and they win the 4th quarter, those points are still more.
No. Garvey is saying that the 4th quarter is more important than every other quarter in basketball.
Because of the way, listen, hold on, preacher, you cannot deny this. Any scenario that happens, preacher, hold on, preacher, I just showed you, preacher, a team can only be in 3 positions in a basketball game. Hold on, let me see if you agree with this. A team can either be trailing, tied, or ahead in a basketball game. You agree with that, preacher?
Trailing, tied, ahead, lose or win. 5 positions.
No, hold on. During a game, you can only be in 3 positions. Trailing, tied. Man. You see, this man is not interested in serious discussion. This man is afraid of me. Man, let me ask you a question. Let me ask man a question. Do you agree with me that during a basketball game, a team can only be in 3 positions, either trailing, tied, or being ahead? Do you agree?
Yeah, man, I agree.
Okay, man, in every one of those practical scenarios, whenever it happens in the 4th quarter, it is more impactful than when it happens in other quarters.
I don't agree.
If you are trailing in the fourth quarter, man, it is more difficult to come back. If you are leading, you have a better chance to win.
So here's the difficulty of the argument, Garvey. All right, that's why I said pressure. Watch this. I am under more pressure to score a penalty. When it gets to sudden death, than to score a penalty when my team is leading by 2 goals and I need 5 goals and I get a penalty. There's less pressure.
It is.
Right. It doesn't mean that it is more.
It doesn't mean that the fourth quarter. Yeah.
Yes, it's more important because guess what? If you had missed that penalty, then couldn't lose the game.
No.
All right, here's the problem I'm gonna have with the old.
Because you already have a cushion of 2 goals, but if you miss the Sunday one, they lose.
Here's the problem I have with the whole discussion. I'll be your scenarios.
Yeah.
He said if we discuss facts
and not principles.
And not principles.
No, but you say, preacher, that is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to show you that it's the same.
Garvey, give me a chance. If we know for certain, say a game in 98-100, right? And the team was got 100, end up scoring the last 2, a buzzer beater, and win the game. We know that for a fact. If we're going to say Robert Smith high blood pressure argument, this no matter how you say with high intensity, we laugh and think. If you're going to say the 2 points where win the game was more important than the other points that were scored, you're saying that other points that were scored were of less importance.
You know why I don't debate about the last point? Because I can't believe so you guys so ridiculous to even debate that.
You agree with it?
I refuse to engage any man in a debate about that.
You agree with that? The last point is more important than every other point.
Without a matter of a shadow of a doubt, and listen, preacher, I refuse to engage any living human being in a discussion about that.
All right, may I tell you something, Garvey? We just watched a football game between Clarendon and Glenmuir. Perhaps one of the best football games I've seen in a long time. Clarendon went up 1-0. Glenmuir ended up winning the game 3-2. They went 1-1, they went 2-1, they went 3-1, and then Clarendon come score and they got 3-2. If you tell me that the third goal in that game was the most important goal in the game for Glenmuir, I'm going to tell you no. No goal no more important. However, the goal that changed the trajectory of the game was the equalizing goal. Because see, after Glenmuir equalizing that game,
the momentum shifted.
The entire momentum in the game shifted towards Glenmuir. When Glenmuir was up, let me finish the point. When Glenmuir was up 2-1, right? They could have that 2-1 can win any game, 2-1 can win many games. But when Glenmuir was up 2-1, Clarendon started to gain ascendancy even with 10 men. And we know, say, Clarendon could have come back into the game with just down 2-1. When Glenmuir went up 3-1, say, the game put out a Clarendon reach. But the third goal was not the most important goal. Every goal in that game there, at the time when it was scored, was important and significant and consequential and critical to the outcome of the game.
So, preacher, you're telling me Burashaga's goal in the final in 86 was not the most important goal.
How much did the game know? Not 3-2.
Yeah.
So Burashaga.
That's what I'm saying. I learned something tonight. That there's a difference between a tie-breaking goal in a 1-all game and a tie-breaking goal in a 5-all game and a tie-breaking goal in a 10-10 game. Me learned that.
Burashaga could not get goal 3 if Argentina did not have goal 2.
That's what I'm saying. I have been scored tonight. I have been convinced that a 20-20 tie is different from a 4-4 tie.
Go ahead.
Let me say something. All right. So, preacher, you realize that in the scenario we just talked about the Glenmuir game, it is totally different. And I can.
Why is it totally different? Why is it totally different?
It's
what
different.
Do you mean totally different?
Hold on. One team. It wasn't 1-all, 2-all, 1-2-1, 2-all.
Right. It was a 2-goal cushion.
A 2-goal cushion. So the different scenario from every
scenario. Different scenario.
No.
Different scenario.
Stop that.
Of course, it is different.
A 2-1 lead in football is the most dangerous lead to have. What are you talking about?
2-1 or a 1 goal. Hold on. A 2-1 or a 1 goal.
What a 1 goal lead, Garvey. All right, fine. You win the argument there. A 1 goal lead. A 1 goal lead in football is the most dangerous lead to have. Just like how in a basketball, if you're up 1 point in a basketball and the game will come to an end, you can lose it. If you're up 2 and the game will come to an end, you can lose it. Pioneer, don't do that, man. Don't do that. Don't do that.
You're going on a different.
You're dead in this. Hey, Pioneer, I just told him, the reason why me never bother enter the last shot discussion is I will not, me don't know how you do it, Pioneer. I will not debate any human being about it.
Pioneer, nah, debate fourth quarter with you either because him think it ridiculous. So,
Brother,
both we not debate last shot. We not debate fourth quarter.
No, I didn't say what. No. You don't. Hold on, preacher, don't.
You're not gonna say it ridiculous.
I was clear in saying that more important or consequential moments are going to come in the fourth quarter. I just agree that it always comes.
Oh, so Pioneer, you do not agree. You don't. All right, Pioneer, you do not agree that the fourth quarter is more important than any other.
You know what I'm trying to do, Pioneer? He might try to make it look like I said. In 100, like a man can just win the fourth quarter and win every basketball game.
I'm not saying that. Garvey, you established that the fourth quarter.
We are working with the majority. You spoke about blow games earlier.
Before a ball shoot, you said the fourth quarter more important.
Yes, because I'm working with the facts, and the facts say, hold on, the facts say, here what you know want to establish, preacher. The facts say that during the fourth quarter, 3/4 of the time, the game is either going to be tied or we have a lead change. That means that what happened before, it can't be as important as what happens now going forward, boss.
All right, fine. Let me hear a Pioneer I said about the scenario.
We lost him.
Pioneer.
I want to go to the conversation because what I say tonight, we have not. For me, the Negro hasn't been moved either way. See, I'm not going to claim no victory in others. See, because as far as I'm concerned, I think the argument has been modeled a little way, Garvey. We continue. In the total thing, Garvey, we are leading by a little leg. So,
the wickedest thing of yourself victory.
We enter the fourth quarter. We're up by 12. And we are finish the game winning by 12. So with them, the fourth quarter starts. Discussion.
Brother, you know what I'm
we have been at it.
But yeah, man, I'll wrap it up now. But yeah, me Jamaica. NFL this Sunday, preach and war yourself. See you February 11th. Here, keep yapping.
Garvey, that game yesterday is a big game.
The Bills are dead, man. The Bills are dead. I ain't even worried about the Bills.
Big up, Pioneer, bless up yourself. Chris Lynch, Cranky, Preacher, Garvey. All right?
Yeah, man.
We're going to end with Rob Smith. Big up in the comment section. Rob Smith said, was Bowser's first goal more important than Bobby's penalty?
None of them were more important.
All the goals were equal. We're going to leave it right there. But good discussion. Pioneer, next time you have to be in studio, brother, to manage the thing, because you understand.
Definitely I will. But all right, for the purpose of what this was tonight, let me say, it was good. We will be entertaining and having more debates like this. I am sure sports. We are in the midst of the basketball season. People, I apologize for not doing a couple of basketball shows. We are at the the NBA in-season final, which will be played on the weekend between the Indiana Pacers and the resurging Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers, I'm a virgin. Make sure you have a guy now. You just tell me so the Lakers did, and I'm tell you that's not true. Lakers are showing some form, even though I don't think they will win the title. I don't think they will come out of the West. But good. Somebody's there and hold it right now. For the purpose of basketball, we'll be here sometime in December where we are going to studio do some basketball shows, and I am sure sports people. I will guarantee that. And we will continue the discussions along these lines. I will be having more spiritual debates like this. And I'm sure this debate has not ended, people. It will continue. People will continue to come down on both sides of the conversation. I'll stay true to my conviction. And my philosophy is impregnable, as I say. It is time and sport that determines importance in sport.
Yo, Pioneer, we love you, man. We love you, brother.
All of the scenarios that have been painted, and I speak again. I will speak to the dynamic nature of sports. That if you score on me at a point in the game that permits me to
Pioneer,
score back,
say end, and then everybody kind of close off, and then you gone back, go and make a point at the end of the thing.
This is my closing. This is my closing argument. In every quarter, there's a summation. Since this is my summation.
So still there, man. So me will give my summation to Pioneer.
Okay, all right, but.
All right. So as I say, I have not been moved from my conviction. I stay true to what I said. And big up preacher. Preacher and I have had we come down on the same side of a lot of discussions, but when we do end up on opposite side, it always leads to spirited debate. Because preacher is a man, I respect him views, and I think next to me, he is closest. Seeing is very little, there are very few people in a sports talk who can contend with me in terms of you. I think the man that possesses the ability. Him finish a close second now, probably not so close, but preacher is a man who me think have the ability, forgive me. I like a small competition. It's me, I say, someone that can draw me out in a moment like this. So I will stay true to my conviction, as I say, and this debate has not ended, people. We will continue it in other mediums, and we'll in other media, and we'll even continue it here, and I am sure sport. See?
All right,
preacher.
Listen, up to preacher now.
Listen, this is the kind of stuff we need. We need discussions like these where can make us think about things that we sometimes take for granted. And sometimes we got hard at each other, people, but believe me, there's a lot of love. There's no love lost. You know what I mean? There's a lot of laughter. There's a lot of, chemistry that's built. There's a lot of camaraderie that's built. At the end of the day, it really comes down to a matter of perspective, and people come from different perspectives. I view the entire game as a composite. I view each quarter as a contributory factor to that composite. I agree with Pioneer. Sports is dynamic. And because of the dynamic nature of sports, it's difficult for me to take a one aspect of the game, even though it might be more intense, even though the pressure might be greater, and give greater importance to it when we're looking at the total sum of points that are scored that determine who wins. I will agree that some shots are more exciting, some shots are more exhilarating. You can't even call them big shot if you want to. We work with all of that. But we can't put lesser importance on points scored earlier when those points are the building block for the total that you will create at the end of the game. But again, matters of perspective. Much love to Pioneer, much love to Garvey, much love to Chris Lynch Cranky. Mannings, man, big up yourself. More of this going forward. We have a lot to discuss, a lot to debate. Enough love and respect.
Yeah, man. Bless up, preacher. Bless up to everyone. Big up yourself in a Pioneer. Oh, yeah, muted. Yeah, man.
Respect, Mannings. You know what, brother? I am sure I'm a place, and I know that.
Yeah, man.
Saying, and we'll support the channel, and we'll continue to encourage people to support the channel. And people, as I said,
people know we have a big project next year. We just not, we're gonna reveal the plan. Big, massive project next year. We're gonna work on.
Lots of things coming, people, and I am sure Brian continue for grow Mannings. I'm applaud the brother for what you do with the channel. I'm glad how you stay persistent in the face of great adversity, and that is why we continue to support. Saying, brethren, love what you do with the thing, and you have a 1,000% support.
Yeah, man.
Saying,
yeah, man.
Respect, man. Saying,
yeah, every time.
Preacher, big up.
Yeah, man. All right, preacher, go and put the young one to bed because I know they were listening.
Yeah, that time of the night, long gone.
yeah. All right, blessings every time. People, also want to thank every single one of you, for staying. It was not quickly constructed in terms of the program, but I'm glad that you stick and you stay because there are many other programs going on discussing schoolboy football, but we had to take a risk and do this. But tomorrow we are going to be talking with Mr. Dennis Strong. He did promise us that there was supposed to be some meeting between the girls and the GFF. We did say that we're going to talk to find out, follow up on it. We don't know if that took place, so we'll give him a call tomorrow and just find out what happened. In the meantime, in between time, I am Mannings Man. This has been I Am Sure Sports. And when it comes to the end of the program, as usual, you know how it goes. We ask you to hit the like button, to subscribe, and to share. And then we say, we are over and we are out of here.
Yo, Chubba Dog, SK New Air this. The body out there, Sniper King I represent for I Am Sure Sports. You get to me, I say, when you want the latest news and sports and updates and all of that, check out I Am Sure Sports. You know the thing goes in. Remember, cover the whole island. Remember Kingston, Westmoreland, Galchester, Orchard Race, Galtigo Bay. Everywhere. I Am Sure Sports. Check it out for the latest news and latest updates. Sniper King I represent. Where them feel like? Ha! Yeah, someone on for the food from we young, from we day, you need height. I Am Sure Sports. Yeah, dog.